Hello there. I've been watching a few tutorials on YouTube showing different minecart stations people have set up and such like, and I've seen some really good ideas there, and so I decided to put something together that's sort of synthesizing those ideas and coming up with a few of my own. And I'd just like to introduce you to what I have going on here. First off, sorry for the appearance of this. I'm not much of an architect, but it works. As you walk in the front door, you're presented with 4 buttons, and they correspond to the track you want to end up on. So just hit track 3, for instance. Cart shows up with a wonderful little chime. Hop in the cart, and as soon as I do that, new booster is kicked up, and it'll send me off and on my way. This is a quad booster, and it'll give me more than enough momentum to get to my destination, wherever that might be. This is just a test map, so my destination isn't actually that far away. I don't know if you can see it, that's track 3. But regardless, I get back in here, it'll automatically shunt me over to the incoming track. Another chime, as soon as I get out, another cart will shoot up and take this back downstairs. Now, as I go on, I'll be posting YouTube links to various tutorials where I found this, because really there's too much going on for one 10-minute video. But I'll give you a quick overview. This is a slightly modified version of necramar's 4-way track switcher. In fact, a lot of what I've got going on here is based on necramar's tutorials. They're fantastic, and I very much recommend them for anyone interested in this sort of stuff. In this case, I've modified things a little bit because the switches are located so far away from the circuit. And I'll show you what the problem is. This is how his circuit is set up. I've just stretched this section a little bit to demonstrate the problem. And basically, because of the way his circuit is running, I would have needed 6 connections running the length of the station. That's not super space efficient. So instead of doing it that way, I've set up one of my own, which basically uses 4 wires instead, and it has a series of NOT gates which act, for anyone who's electronically inclined, as diodes, and they basically isolate one side of the circuit from another, so they prevent it from registering more than one button press at a time. So this works quite a bit better, and it only requires me to run 4 wires. Still takes up quite a bit of space, but not quite as much. Now over here, my quad booster is based on another very interesting video. Necramar's original station design involved using a double stacked booster, but I found that booster tended to glitch out after a couple of uses, and the 2 carts would separate and then it would stop working, so I ended up just setting it up this way instead. And I also have some very snazzy floor lighting going on here. That's a layer of water with torches underneath. So basically, one thing that necramar has yet to explain is the system he's used for actually managing to hide all this stuff underneath his station. So I think my station's a little bit bigger than his is, so it's not quite as hard for me to cram everything in downstairs, but even so, this station is 5 levels. There's the track level here, then 2 mechanical levels, and 2 electrical levels. And it's not actually quite as complicated as it looks, but we'll give it a quick run through anyway. Now, first up on the top mechanical level, this looks a bit crowded, but it's because of the other stuff I'm cramming in here. This lighting system takes up a lot of space, and I also have a little chime system going on down here. And basically all that we have going on here from a mechanical standpoint is just drops. There's one drop that places the minecart back on each one of the 3 booster pairs, and I'll go over those in a minute, but I also have one other that will restock this Pez dispenser right here. So going down one more level, we have, let's see, it's very hard to navigate. Here we go. We have another chime set up here. That's hard to get up. It's also tough to navigate this when you've got all these whizzing bits going by. We have another chime system set up here on this level. That's also taking up space, but it's dominated by 3 booster pairs. There's one running along each side, and those are the boosters that run along the outside tracks. So one of them is responsible for fetching an empty cart and bringing it back to the Pez dispenser, and the other one is responsible for kicking the new cart out on its way. And those are super simple. They just run the length of the platform, go up, run along the platform again, come down, and then they run along this little drop here, and then they fall back onto the dispenser track. So that's super easy. And then the area in the middle is just dominated by the Pez dispenser, and there's another booster set up there to just loop around and send the cart out from the Pez dispenser. And I've used glass floors just to make things look a little bit more open and less confounding. And basically the situation we're in right here is it's not possible to use redstone to start a stopped cart directly. We actually have to have carts in constant motion, and we have a switch at the end of each of these, so we can just flip the switch every time we need a booster and it'll send it out and on its way, which is where our redstone level comes in. This looks maybe a little bit complicated, but it's not really that bad, especially considering that we have 8 inputs and 7 outputs here, plus 5 more outputs upstairs for the chimes. But our 8 inputs are basically the 4 buttons, which are right here. And then we also have the pressure plates, the 1 wood and 1 stone pressure plate on either side. And they're wired up fairly simple into straightforward logic gates. There's no really complicated circuitry or anything going on. It's just trying to cram this into a small space that makes this a little bit complicated. The stone pressure plate is activated when the player is on it, and the wood pressure plate is activated when the cart or when a player is on it. So we use that to tell whether a cart is occupied or not. And the stone pressure plate on the outgoing track is wired directly into the switch for this, so as soon as there's an occupied minecart, it'll send a booster out to that. The wood pressure plate on this side is wired into one side of this RS NOR latch, the other side of which is connected to the buttons here. Now, in Necramar's video, he has set up implies gate to ensure that when you stand on a pressure plate, you have to stand on it as long as it takes for the booster to fire out, and then it'll grab the requisite cart from the Pez dispenser and send that up, and as soon as that cart is upstairs, then it'll deactivate the implies gate and not send out any more carts, which is all well and good, but I wanted to set things up with buttons, and buttons are only pressed once for a brief period. You can't hold them down. So as a result, I had to set this up so that it activates the implies gate, and the implies gate will stay active as long as it takes until a cart arrives upstairs. And I think that's a much more elegant way to go about it. And it seems to work quite nicely as well. On the other side, we do have one implies gate here. It's a bit of a more complicated model because I need the 2 inputs to be isolated if I'm going to have the chime work properly upstairs. But basically, it will only fire when the wood button is pressed and the stone button is not, which happens when there's an empty cart up there. When that fires, it just activates this switch here, which will send our booster upstairs to grab the empty cart and bring it back downstairs. And then, of course, we have the one bottom level down here, and that's super straightforward. It just consists of a series of wires running the length of the station, and then we've got boosters running all the way upstairs to the final circuitry out front, which is where the switching takes place. So once again, I'll just go through this one more time. I can just call for a cart. This go for track 4. And the implied gate is activated now. So I can just change tracks if I want to. Change to track 1 maybe. It won't send out another cart. Just hop in, and I'm off and on my way. So thanks for watching, and if you happen to live in the riding of Edmonton Centre in Canada, I encourage you to vote for me for MP for the Pirate Party of Canada. Or if you live in another riding in Canada in the next federal election, I encourage you to get out and vote Pirate, and hopefully support the synthesis of ideas here, and definitely steal my ideas and hopefully come up with something new of your own and share that with everyone else. Help to build our little culture going on here. So please vote for a fellow Minecart fan, a fellow MineCraft fan. I don't know how many other party leaders in Canada can choose that claim to fame. Thanks for watching.